Well, hello, and how is everybody doing today? This is basically the second video in our series of multiple Microsoft Excel videos. As you notice, I have added a second sheet, and I called it Practice 2. You could easily actually add the sheet by renaming it once you add it. You could do that and also go to the tab color and change it, or if in this case, I'm going to go ahead and delete it. So I colored it as practice 2 to save a couple of minutes. So in the future, when I create a sheet, you will know how did I do that. Anyway, I wanted to go ahead and show you, regardless of where we are on the sheet, if I hold the control key and press the home key in the keyboard, it's going to take me to A1. So this is like called the home key for the spreadsheet. If I'm here and I hit the home key, it goes to A1 as well. You could if you're using Mac, you hold the command key and you could actually control home. It will take you to A1. So I wanted to go ahead and solve a problem. Of course, you don't use Excel for the sake of using Excel. There's always a problem solving aspect that you need to follow. And in this case, I have three employees, and I wanted to keep track of their sales from April all the way to July. And I wanted to find their total. Later, I wanted to see, if I'm going to give them commission. And we're going to evolve with this story because it's like I tried to tell it as a story. So I'll be able to see where is going to evolve into a decision making, whether we're going to treat them equally or we're going to really look at how much they sold and if we need to give somebody a certain type of commission versus other type of commission. Anyway, let's go ahead and start with C3. This is my very first cell. I'm going to go ahead and add a label. A label is a caption just to identify what the data are going to be under it. And as you will see through my videos, I'm not going to concern ourselves with so many data. Every example, I will use a few data, but that is not the case because we could really look at the data and see the solution. But imagine instead of three entries, we have a 300 or 3,000 or 300,000 entry, which really that's where Excel is going to be way too powerful. So not because we can see it and solve it, we can do it just by entering the data manually. We have to use Excel for what it was made for. Two things. We have to use the mm, automatic recalculation, meaning if I change my mind, the calculation is going to be remade instantly. And the second is to really use the fill handle, which is this lower right corner. When I put the cursor, it changes it from a kind of like thick plus sign or cross into a thin one. Once it's thin, it's ready to be acting as the fill handle. And I'll show you. Anyway, let's go ahead and put Roderick as the first person here. Then we're going to go ahead and maybe put John. All right. And we'll go ahead and put Mary. So we have three employees, Roderick, John, and Mary. And notice here, if I misspelled something, I hit F7, the function key F7 for a quick spell check. I'm notorious for misspelling things, so I would like to be able to do that as well. Then we're going to go ahead and start with the word April. And notice April already exists in Excel in order to be used with the fill handle. So the fill handle, which is the lower right corner, as I said earlier, it's going to change from a thick a plus sign to a thin one. I could go ahead and click on it and drag it to the right. And as you notice, it added for me April, May, June, and July. You will ask me, oh, whoa, that's really interesting. Who did that? I will say Excel put that for you because this is a very common function. But the question, can we do that for a list of maybe 100 employees or thousands of employees that if I put the first employees and I drag it, it will fill? Of course you can do that. So where is that? Again, I'm going to switch a little bit in order to show you some feature because I love to share with you some tricks and tips through these list of videos. So when we go to file, first of all, I could go ahead and, as I told you in the first video, option, which is way too helpful in order to tweak so many of the features that exist in Excel. I'm going to go to the advanced, and I'm going to go ahead and go all the way down, almost all the way to down to edit custom list. And now you see how I have uh, the Sunday, Sun, three letters, Monday, January. I keep track of my family's expense, grandpa, wife, Isam, Rhoda, me. All this, when I try to see here, I put the grandpa, wife, Isam, Rhoda, and me. And of course, a lot of other things I could do. You could add them here, separated by a comma, and you'll be able to also import them from another files or from another list. You don't have to type them at all. For example, if I go ahead and say, okay, if I started already programmed it by typing grandpa, and as you notice here, I could go ahead and drag this down, and you notice that these are the 5 people in my life that I keep track of their expense when it's needed. So by just putting drag grandpa, you could go ahead and drag it. Even you could go ahead and put it right here at grandpa, and you will be able to also use this to do it this way or the other way. If you keep scrolling or selecting, it's going to actually keep adding the data from the start. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and highlight everything and hit enter. As you notice, could be very, very helpful for you if you have a huge list that you would like to store inside your Excel, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time you wanted to enter that list. Let's go back to here, and I'm going to go ahead and just do very quick uh, type of numerical values. Okay, let's go ahead and get this. Right, so, and let's go ahead and give Mary a little bit more sales. And here we go. And let's go ahead and get that. All right, so as you notice here, if this is basically a currency, there's two types of currency. There is two types, and its currency is the format. It has nothing to do with the value. The value is always the same. When we go to the home, and if I press the default in the home ribbon, if I press the default format, which is the $sign, this is going to give me, if I enlarge this, this is going to give me basically the accounting format, which is going to put the $sign all the way to the left. If I'm not happy with this, because 0 is always going to be a dash, as you notice it. All right, I could go ahead and undo. If you wanted to do the currency, which is a different format, it's the same values. It doesn't affect the quantity, rather only the way it looks. It adds the dollar all the way to the left of that numerical value, which is, again, this is a matter of your culture, corporate culture, or whatever you're trying to do. I like the accounting feature. It's like more neat or organized. And you notice here we have this is very large. So what we're going to do is to go between the two columns and double click, and Excel immediately will allow as width as needed in this case. The same thing if I actually take this a little bit down or making it shorter, it shows those pound sign because we don't have enough to show. No big deal. I could go between the two columns and I click twice very quickly. Please don't take a nap in between the two clicks, and you should be able to really show them. Anyway, I wanted to go ahead and show you, maybe this is going to be a little bit longer than 10 minutes video, but I want to show you 7 different ways to get that total. And then we'll move into the other video. The first thing, and you should never ever use it in the real world, but some people who are new to Excel, they go ahead and actually type the actual value, which is 900 plus 955 plus 900. See, already I start making mistake, and it's very, very, very tedious. And it will give us the sum of these four values, but immediately you really killed every nice feature about Excel. First of all, the fill handle, as we will see later, is not anymore functional because this has become a constant. And if you use constant, it's going to repeat itself. That's one way of really see how damaging is this. The second thing, which really, in my opinion, the very important thing, they're both important, but the very important thing, if I change this cell And if that's my intention, maybe I made a mistake on how much Roderick sold in April. In a state of 900, he did actually sell $1,000. Then there is no way to use that automatic recalculation, which is really very bad in this case. So please don't use this. Get into the habit. If there is anything need to be calculated based on a changeable quantity, use the cell address, not the actual value. So we could go ahead and do the second way of doing it is to go ahead and click on the cell that's reflected, keep plus, plus, and plus. And this is a formula as we have known in the first video, which is good. I mean, it works for 4 of them. That's not bad. Also, we could use the fill handle, as you will notice, and it's going to do those. I'll elaborate on how I did it in the next video. However, I wanted to be able to see this is really not practical if I ended up having 300 cells. I'll be a lot older by the time I'm done, and really that's a waste of time. So maybe 2 or 3 or 4, that's fine, but for longer number of cells, please try to think about something else. For example, do we have a function that is called the sum or total or some sort that will allow us to do the same thing I did through the formula? Of course, the most common function in Excel is the sum function, which exists in many places actually. The first one here, as you notice, those are the most common function. We have sum, average, count, numbers, and max and minimum. So I'm going to go ahead and click on sum, and immediately Excel notice that there is a data to the left of this cell, and it actually selected it for you. This is correct selection, but not all the time you should trust Excel in how it selects to you the range. So now we have a range, a D4, and the colon should be looked at as a through G4. So this is really good. It's going to work. And I'm going to go ahead and see. Also, we're going to use the fill handle to copy that tab of calculation on the next 2 employees. So this is the third way. The fourth way, you could really go ahead and click on the FX, which is a very powerful dialog kind of windows, which allows you to look for any function by typing it or type the beginning of it, because we have a lot of function in Excel that start with sum. Later we will see some of those. And we're going to click on OK. Now it gives you really a better dialog if you have multiple data that is not pertained to one rows or column, maybe not the same sheet. So in this case, I'm happy with what it's selected for me, but I'll go ahead and make sure that exactly what I need to show is going to show in the data. And obviously, it's really working very nice. The next way of doing it is to go to the formula, and notice AutoSum is, again, one of the biggest function that are available for us. That is my fifth one. If you wanted to really know, and that's what will happen eventually, that the more you use Excel, the more you would like to type your own function. So you will start with equal sign, type the name of the function. Once you see the list of the function, just hit the tab and then select actually the range. And you don't have to close the right parentheses for good reason. And I will show you later why is that the case. And hit enter. And notice we ended up doing it this way. And the next thing that I wanted to share with you just only pertain to the sum function. If you hold the Alt key and press the plus sign, and notice it's going to do the same thing, in which you're going to be able to do that and use the fill handle to calculate it. I'm going to stop here. I apologize about the fact that this video really took longer than what I wanted to, but I don't want to cut the thoughts right in the middle. So thank you for your patience, and hopefully we'll continue with the second video, the third videos very soon. Thank you again for watching, and you have a wonderful day.